Hello, everyone. John Candy here. Welcome. We'll be talking about guitar today, but I think any musician can take from this or just relax, chill, and see what I'm talking about. So, hey, these are the baby steps. Well, before the baby steps, right? Before you're even gonna touch it, these are some things I want to talk about that you should keep in mind. First of all, when it comes to playing, you gotta have a good reason. Don't. I hate hearing, I want to play guitar for the girls, or I want to play guitar for popularity. Those are not good reasons to play guitar. Those are really shallow, right? Or just about for any instrument. Why would you want to do something just to get the attention of other people? Wouldn't it be better to find personal enjoyment from it? To do it just for the sake of doing it? Um, I find that guitar is my way of connecting to music, and music is an expression of the soul, or it's just a way to express oneself that is more than words could ever describe. And for me, guitar is the instrument of choice. So maybe that is the same for you, but if that's the case, you're going to want to pick the right guitar for you, right? It's going to have to be one that is playable, maybe affordable, but honestly, quality does go far. You're going to want to put some money into it. You're going to want help picking it. Um, you're going to want to, when you look at it, there's something about it that draws you to it. What else can I say? I think other than that's just about it. And those are all really valid reasons, or just valid things to keep in mind. When you do have your guitar or your instrument, make sure that it's always in view. It's really strange to say, but if you're gonna you're gonna take a shower and your guitar's next to your door, you're gonna see it as before you take your shower, right? Or whatever you do, it's gonna be there to remind you, hey, you should play me, you know? And it may call to you. Just if it's just make sure it's not acting like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin mask in Spider-Man. Okay, that's happening. Got to get that checked out. Hmm. And when it comes to the playing itself, uh, or before, yeah, let's still talk about the instrument. Before you even, really decide the instrument, make sure you know what genre or thing you're going to do. Or I guess you could even just like the sound of the instrument itself. But if you already have an idea of the genre, then I'll just give an example. It doesn't make sense for me if I really want to get into dubstep, if I never saw a guitar and I wanted to get into dubstep, to get a guitar or to get a violin, right? It doesn't make sense unless I had like a side thing or a secondary appreciation. But to me, that's just not the case. So this can be very specific. There are some guitars that are better suited towards specific genres. I can't say too much, but you're gonna want to do research. This is something to have fun with, or something to keep in mind, especially because um, like how far apart the strings are from like the bridge to the nut. That length changes the tone. It also changes playability. There's a lot of things to it. So that is a factor to consider when you are getting your instrument. Um, but just know, I think above all else, it would be playability, then tone. If you can't play your instrument, there's no point, right? Make sure you get an instrument that is playable, maybe affordable. And when it comes to the playable part, I don't think you have to get it professionally set up. Most of the time, if they're a reputable company, uh, you could trust them. Like for classicals, there's Cordoba. I have not needed to set up my guitar. I have not felt the need. But sometimes you should is a good practice to do so, especially if you're a more professional musician or You're using higher tension strings or the acoustic guitar, maybe electric, because those have more variable tension, most likely higher tension. And it's going to be more unstable to have more pounds of pressure pulling. It's a lot of force. I think it's for a classical. It's like 100 pounds. It's a lot. 100 pounds from all the strings, and similar for the electric, but for the steel/acoustic, it is like double. It can be double. It is a lot. Um, and when you make sure you're careful with your strings, because when they break, ow, okay. Um, and just some things to keep in mind in a general sense. Classicals are a lot more warm sounding, a lot more playable. That's why I play them. I love how easy they come to me. I don't have to worry about, honestly, fatigue or pain because it's a lot more soft, but also the tone, it's beautiful. For steel, it's a lot more bright sounding, a lot more tinny, metallic, obviously, it comes with it, acoustic. Um, and they are very tough to play because they do have that much force pulling them together. You have to push more far. You have to push harder down to push that string. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you do get an acoustic guitar that's set up with like steel strings or whatever type, it is going to be more difficult. You're going to probably want, if you want it more playable, uh, to put electric strings on it, which you can do. You're going to want to do research. I've done that before. I wouldn't recommend doing it as a beginner, but that's something you could do. You're going to want maybe silk and steel strings, maybe lower tension strings are called like light gauge, I believe. And this stuff kind of applies to electrics as well, but electrics already have a lower baseline, uh, like how much force you're pressing down. And if you were to take the guitar and then imagine I have a guitar like vertically in front of me. If I was to look at it from the like a side view and I saw the distance between the strings and the fretboard, right? You kind of for different genres there is different preferences for how high that distance should be. But generally, and I recommend this, you're gonna want lower distance. It's called action. You're gonna want low action because think about it. It is less space to push down. A lot more playable, right? And I think that's important. You're gonna want playability in mind because you don't want the guitar fighting you. You want to be able to access the instrument as easily as you can. Now, if you're someone like I'm trying to think, you may want a certain tone that is only achievable with high tension and like lower tuning, and you're gonna just need to. Uh, Sorry, you're just gonna have to. There are some things you could do, but that's more so post production, or you're gonna have to do a lot more work to change the tone, like playing towards the bridge or playing towards the fretboard. Playing towards the bridge makes it bright. Playing towards the fretboard makes it dark. That is something I keep in mind as a classical musician. There's a lot more, like, I'd say the strings are more reactive. I have a lot more tone control, which is one reason why I like it. But you still have tone control with all the others. Um, with electrics, you have a lot. There you have you have the pickups, and then you also have however many like pedals. You have your amp settings. Um, with your steel string guitars, you can have different types of picks, different materials in the picks themselves. You can also, for your hands are a factor in your tone. If you have long nails, which honestly I don't, this is something just to consider, right? If you have long nails, it's going to make the sound more bright. It's more sharp. Not literally sharpening notes, it's a different thing. But it's going to make it sound like a higher attack. But if you like play with like a more fleshy bit of your finger, then it's going to be more round sounding, more warm. And that's just something to keep in mind. So if you have like long nails, that will affect your tone. Some classical musicians do that. They play with long nails. I've tried. I like having long nails, but I have a lot of difficulty in growing them. One thing to consider is honestly acrylics, if you don't mind. I think you should feel like this weird pressure as like whoever you are, a man, right? To just do it. If it helps you, do it, right? Um, for instance, I would even when I was trying to grow out my nails, I would paint them. Why? Because if you bite your nails, if you bite the your painted nails, right, with nail polish, you're gonna taste it. It's not gonna taste good. So that's just something to keep in mind. But otherwise, I think I said like a lot of things I would want, um, like a beginner or someone who's thinking about it to get into. Otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them. I will most likely continue doing content like this and releasing shorts. I'm not going to tell you when. I'm just going to do it when I do it because when it comes out, it's going to be the best it can be. And I don't want to put a time frame on that, right? Quality over quantity any day. But again, anything in mind, let me know. And subscribe, like, comment.